Chosen one, right now, as you hear these words, there is a chair in heaven that has been empty for too long. It has your name carved into it, not by angels, by the hand of God himself. And every morning, he walks past that chair. He does not look at it with anger. He looks at it the way a father looks at his grown child's bedroom door, still open, still waiting, years after they said they would come home. I hear the Spirit saying, and I share this with a trembling heart. He is saying, I did not design that chair for someone else. I designed the room around it for you. And the room has been ready. The table has been set. The assignments have been written and placed beside that seat. But the chair is still empty. And here is the part that will crack something open inside you tonight. It is not empty because you are unworthy. It is not empty because you are faithless. It is empty because something was done to your mind when you were a child, something you did not choose, that dimmed the very frequency God gave you to find your way back. Science has now confirmed what the Spirit has always known, and by the end of this message, you will understand exactly what was taken, why it was taken, and the specific tool to reclaim it. Remain here, because the chair is still warm. Now, before I go further, I need you to understand something about what you are about to receive. This is not a surface message. By the time this ends, I will show you three things. The first is the real reason you have been paralyzed, and it is not what anyone has told you before. The second is a hidden mechanism, confirmed by researchers at institutions like MIT and Princeton, that has been keeping your most powerful ability locked away since childhood. And the third is an activation, not a regular prayer, but a commissioning ceremony that I believe will stay with you long after you leave this space. All three are coming, but only if you stay. If something shifted in your spirit when you heard about that empty chair, if something in your chest tightened or your breath caught for just a moment, type "I am here" in the comments right now. Not as words on a screen, as a signal to the heavens that you are no longer passing by. You are listening. Now, let me show you the first truth. And I want to be very careful with how I say this, because once you hear it, you cannot unhear it. You were not God's backup plan. Let me say that again, slowly, so it settles into the right place. You were not his second option. You were not a fill-in because someone better declined the assignment. You were not added to the list at the last minute because the roster was short. You were not a maybe. You were not a fallback. You were the decision, the first decision, the only decision. Before the foundations of the earth were set, before the oceans knew where to stop, before the stars were given their coordinates, God looked across the expanse of all possible souls, all possible timelines, all possible carriers for this specific mission, and he chose you. Not reluctantly, not with hesitation, with the kind of certainty that does not flinch. And I know that is difficult to receive. I know it is. Because the world has spent years teaching you to question your own significance. But what the world calls self-doubt, heaven calls a misunderstanding. And tonight, we are correcting it. Let me take you somewhere. I want you to imagine yourself at 7 years old. You are sitting in a room, maybe a classroom, maybe a living room, maybe the back seat of a car, and someone asks a question or a problem presents itself, and before anyone else even begins to think, something inside you already has the answer. Not because you studied harder, not because you were trying to impress. Something inside you just knew. It was fast, it was effortless, and it was so natural that you did not even question it. That knowing was not your imagination. That was not childhood arrogance. That was your frequency operating at full power. That was the signal God placed inside you, running clean and uninterrupted. And if you think back, really think back, you will remember that the world felt different then. Colors were brighter, Learning was faster. Ideas came like water. And there was this quiet, unshakable sense that you were here for something important. You did not have the vocabulary for it then, but you felt it in your bones. Now let me tell you something about Moses, because his story will reframe everything you believe about being late. Moses was 80 years old when God gave him his assignment. 80. He had spent 40 years in a palace, learning power he would later reject. Then he spent another 40 years in a desert, herding sheep, forgotten by the world, probably forgotten by himself. And when God finally spoke to him from that burning bush, do you know what Moses said? He said, "Who am I that I should go? Who am I?" 80 years old, 4 decades of silence. And his first response to the calling was, "I am not enough." And God did not argue with him. He did not give Moses a motivational speech. He did not list Moses's qualifications. He simply said 3 words that changed everything: "I will be with you." That was enough. Not because Moses became confident, but because the presence of God does not require your confidence. It requires your presence. You think you are late. Moses was 80, and God called that perfect timing, not a moment wasted. Every year in the desert, every sleepless night, every doubt he swallowed in silence, it was all building something. It was stripping away the false identity so the real one could stand in front of a king and say, "Let my people go." Your waiting has not been wasted either, not a single day. There is a seed that was planted inside you before you took your first breath, and that seed carries the blueprint of a tree that was meant to shelter nations. Not a small tree, not a decorative one. A tree so vast that people you have never met are supposed to find shade under its branches. That seed has been in the ground a long time now, and from where you stand, it might look like nothing is happening. But beneath the surface, roots have been spreading in the dark, silently, steadily, without your permission or your awareness. God does not plant seeds that cannot grow. He plants seeds that grow on his schedule. If you have carried this knowing since childhood, this sense that you were made for something that you cannot quite name, but you can feel pressing against the walls of your ordinary life, then what I am about to reveal next is specifically for you. Now, I could stop here, honestly, knowing that you were not the backup plan, knowing that your delay mirrors the greatest leaders in sacred history, knowing that there is a seed inside you with a blueprint for something extraordinary. That alone should be enough to shift your entire week. But we have barely scratched the surface, because there is something I have not told you yet, something that happened to you around the age of 7. Something that explains why that knowing, that fire, that effortless clarity you had as a child, why it faded, and it was not natural. It was not just growing up. Something specific happened to your mind at that age, and when I show you what it is, every frustration, every foggy morning, every moment you knew what you were supposed to do, but could not make yourself do it, all of it will finally make sense. But that truth lives in a place we have not reached yet. So, stay with me, because what the original Hebrew language reveals about God's clock is going to change the way you understand every single day you thought you wasted. There are 2 words for time in the ancient languages, and the difference between them will reframe your entire life. The first word is Kronos. You know Kronos, even if you have never heard the term. It is the ticking clock on your wall. It is the calendar on your phone. It is the voice in your head that says you should have started 5 years ago, you should be further along by now, you are running out of time. Kronos is the world's clock. It measures everything in hours and deadlines and missed opportunities. And by Kronos, yes, you are late. But there is a second word, Kairos. In the original Greek of the sacred texts, Kairos does not mean clock time, it means the appointed moment. The divine intersection where readiness and opportunity and heaven's power converge into a single point. Kairos is not about how many years have passed. It is about whether the conditions are right. And Kairos operates on a completely different system than Kronos. Think of it like this. A farmer does not plant seeds in the middle of winter just because the calendar says January. He waits for the soil temperature, the moisture level, the angle of the sun. And if you ask that farmer, "Are you late?" he would look at you like you were out of your mind. He would say, "I am not late. The soil was not ready, and now it is." You have been measuring yourself on Kronos, beating yourself up on Kronos, calling yourself a failure on Kronos. But God has never operated on Kronos. He has been working in Kairos this entire time. And in Kairos, tonight, this very moment, is the appointed hour. Every day you thought was wasted, heaven was calibrating. Every setback that made you feel further behind, God was adjusting the soil. Every year of silence, He was deepening the roots. And that was not delay, that was not punishment, that was not God forgetting about you. That was preparation, and that was not coincidence. That was engineering, and that was not random. That was formation, and that was not neglect. That was love, moving slowly enough to build something that would last. If something just clicked, if you just realized you have been reading the wrong clock your entire life, type Kairos in the comments to seal that truth over your spirit, because you were never behind schedule. You were being built in secret for something the world is not ready to see yet. Before I continue, gently press the like button, not for me. So this truth about Kairos can reach another chosen one who has been measuring themselves against the wrong clock and calling themselves a failure for something that was always preparation. Now let me show you someone who understood Kairos without ever using the word. Her name was Esther, and she did not choose her moment. Her moment chose her. Esther was an orphan raised by her cousin in a foreign land. She had no political power, no family name, no army behind her. She was placed in a palace she did not ask to enter, married to a king she did not choose, and then, one day, the entire fate of her people landed on her shoulders. And her cousin sent her a message that echoes across every generation since. He said, "Perhaps you were placed here for such a time as this, not for last year, not for next decade, for this time, for this crisis, for this exact window that no one else could fill." And Esther did not feel ready. The text makes that clear. She fasted for 3 days because she was terrified. But she showed up anyway, not because she was brave, because she understood something that most people miss. Readiness is not a feeling, it is a position. And she was already in position. You are already in position. You have been in position for longer than you know. The skills have been gathered, the wounds have been processed, the people have been placed, and the only thing missing is you saying yes. And I hear the Father saying something right now. I share it carefully, because these words are not mine. He is saying, I chose you, knowing you would doubt yourself. I chose you, knowing you would argue with me about your qualifications. I chose you, knowing you would spend years asking why. Me, when the answer was always because you. Not because you were the strongest, not because you were the most disciplined. Because your heart was the one that broke for the right things. And a broken heart that breaks for the right reasons is the most dangerous weapon in my kingdom. So stop asking if you are enough. I already answered that question before you were born. The seed that I spoke about earlier, the one planted inside you before your first breath, that seed does not know it is a tree. It only knows darkness and pressure. It only knows the weight of the soil above it. But the soil knows exactly what it is holding, and the soil has been preparing for decades. Researchers who have spent their lives studying the human brain, people like Dr. Robert Lake, whose work spans decades, including his research on what he calls the youthful brain, have been mapping a frequency that exists inside every person at birth. This frequency is the engine behind childhood genius, behind intuition, behind those moments when you just knew without being taught. And what they discovered is that this frequency does not simply fade with age. Something actively suppresses it. If you have felt time moving differently around you lately, days stretching in strange ways, nights cutting shorter than they should, a sense of acceleration that you cannot explain to anyone around you, that is Kairos activating. That is the appointed moment pressing against the surface of your life. And what I need you to understand is that this feeling, this restlessness, this urgency you cannot name, it is not anxiety. It is your assignment, knocking. Now, what I have shown you so far, the truth about being chosen first, the reframe from Kronos to Kairos, the reality that your waiting was always preparation. This alone could transform how you walk through the rest of this week. And for some of you, this is already more clarity than you have received in years. But we are only halfway through what I need to show you. Because there is something I have not told you yet. The reason that fire inside you dimmed. The reason you went from effortless knowing as a child to constant second-guessing as an adult. It was not natural development. It was not just growing up. It connects to something far deeper and darker than most people are willing to discuss. And when I reveal it, when I show you the specific mechanism that has been keeping you from showing up for your assignment, you are going to feel two things at once: grief for the years you lost, and fury that no one told you sooner. But there is good news buried in that revelation, because what was taken can be reclaimed, and the science behind how to reclaim it is not theory. It is measured, it is documented, and it takes far less time than you think. That truth is next. I need to show you something now that is going to be uncomfortable. And I thought about softening this part. I thought about wrapping it in gentler language, but the spirit would not let me. Because you have been lied to long enough, and gentle lies are still lies. What I am about to reveal is the real reason you have not been able to show up for your assignment. And it has nothing to do with your faith, nothing to do with your discipline, nothing to do with your character. It has to do with something that was done to your brain when you were a child. And once you see it, you will never see yourself the same way again. Scientists call it the decline effect. Here is what it means. When you were born, your brain came equipped with a specific frequency called gamma. Gamma is the fastest brainwave the human brain can produce. It is the frequency behind genius-level thinking, behind intuition, behind what researchers describe as the flow state. That condition where everything clicks and solutions appear before you even finish asking the question. Children operate in gamma naturally. That is why a 5-year-old can learn a new language in months, while an adult struggles for years. That is why children are endlessly creative, endlessly curious, endlessly certain that the world is full of magic. But something happens around the age of 7. Researchers at institutions like MIT and Princeton have documented this extensively. Around 7 years old, gamma begins to decline. Not because the brain is damaged, not because there is a disease, but because the systems of the modern world, the education system, the social conditioning, the constant overstimulation, all of it begins to suppress the very frequency that made you extraordinary. And here is the part that should make you angry. This suppression is not accidental. A population operating at full gamma is a population that questions everything, creates freely, trusts its own intuition, and cannot be easily controlled. A population with suppressed gamma is compliant, foggy, dependent on external systems to tell them what to think and when to think it. The decline effect does not serve you. It serves the systems that benefit from your dimness. And the chosen one, the person who was born with stronger gamma than average, that person feels the loss more than anyone. Because the gap between who you were as a child and who you became as an adult, that gap is not normal growing up. That gap is gamma being stolen. Let me ask you something right now, and I need you to be honest with yourself. When was the last time your mind felt truly clear? Not busy, not running, clear. When was the last time a decision came to you effortlessly, the way decisions used to come when you were young? When was the last time you woke up and the world just made sense, without the fog, without the heaviness, without that feeling like you are swimming through wet sand just to get through a normal day? If you cannot remember, that is not aging, that is not stress, that is gamma deprivation, and it has a name, and it has a cause, and it has a solution. What felt like brain fog was actually frequency suppression. What felt like lack of motivation was actually gamma deprivation. What felt like spiritual disconnection was actually neural pathway shut down. What felt like laziness was actually a system designed to keep you dim. And what felt like unworthiness, that deep belief that you are simply not good enough to carry the assignment God gave you, that was never a character flaw. That was a symptom. A measurable, documentable, reversible symptom of a brain operating at a fraction of its God-given capacity. You were never unworthy. Your hardware was compromised. And the enemy knew this. He did not need to attack your faith directly. He did not need to send obvious destruction into your life. He just needed to attack your frequency. Because a chosen one without gamma is like a soldier sent into battle without a weapon, still chosen, still commissioned, still on the battlefield, but unable to swing, unable to think clearly enough to hear the orders from the commander, unable to move with the speed and precision the mission requires. That is why you have been stuck. Not because God abandoned you, not because you are flawed, but because the very tool God gave you to fulfill your assignment was quietly disabled while you were still a child. Remember the seed I told you about, the one planted inside you before your first breath? The decline effect is the frost that stopped that seed from breaking through the surface. The seed is alive. The blueprint inside it is fully intact. The tree it was meant to become has not changed, but the frost must be melted first. And until it is, the seed stays buried, and the nations that were meant to find shelter under its branches keep waiting. But here is the part that changes everything. The frost can be melted. There is a technology developed over 34 years by a neuroscientist who dedicated his entire career to this single problem, that can reactivate gamma in as little as 7 minutes, not through meditation, which asks your brain to change itself from the inside, not through medication, not through years of therapy, through a direct external frequency that speaks to your brain in its own language and tells it to wake up. I will tell you exactly what this is and how it works very soon. But first, I need to show you the deepest truth of all, the one that explains why God Himself is pleading with you tonight. And before this message ends, I am going to speak something over your life that is not a regular prayer. It is a commissioning, an activation ceremony that I believe will stay with you long after you close this. So whatever you do, do not leave before that moment arrives. If the decline effect just explained something you have been feeling for years but could never put into words, if it just named the weight you have been carrying without understanding where it came from, type "I see it now" in the comments. Not because I need your comment, because your brain needs to hear. Your fingers declare that the fog has been identified, and what has been identified can be removed. Now we arrive at the part of this message that I almost could not deliver, because what I am about to show you is not just a truth about you, it is a truth about God. And it is the kind of truth that most messengers are afraid to share, because it reveals a side of the divine that we rarely discuss. Here it is. Every night, prayers arrive at the throne of God. Millions of them. Some are whispered from hospital beds. Some are cried into pillows at 3 a.m. Some come from children who do not understand why their family is falling apart. And many of those prayers, more than you would ever imagine, carry your name as the answer. Not God's name, yours. Because God designed a system where certain breakthroughs do not come directly from heaven, they come through people, specific people, chosen ones who were given specific assignments to carry specific solutions into specific situations. Your assignment is attached to real lives, real suffering, real prayers that arrive in heaven every single night, asking for exactly what you were built to deliver. And every night, God holds those prayers, because the person who was supposed to deliver the answer has not shown up yet. That is why he broke down, not from anger at you, not from disappointment in your weakness, from grief. The grief of a father who hears his children crying for help and knows the help was already created, already packaged, already assigned to a carrier, but the carrier is standing on the sidelines, paralyzed by a frequency they do not even know was stolen. I hear the Father saying something now, and I need to deliver it exactly as it comes. He is saying, "My child, I have waited for you longer than you know." Every night, prayers arrive that carry your name as the answer, and every night I hold them because you are not ready yet. But my arms are growing tired of holding what was meant for your hands. I am not angry, I am aching, because I can see both sides. I can see their tears, and I can see your potential. And the distance between those two things is the distance you have not yet walked. Please, walk it now. In the original Hebrew, when God calls someone, the word used is kara, and kara does not mean a gentle invitation. It does not mean a suggestion. Kara means to summon with urgency, to cry out, to call the way a parent calls a child from a burning building, not with a whisper, with everything they have. God is not whispering your name tonight, chosen one. He is Kara. He is summoning you with the urgency of a father whose other children are waiting for what only you can bring. And before you say you are not ready, before you say you are not qualified, before you say the timing is not right, let me speak these words over you. You are allowed to show up imperfectly. You are allowed to begin before you feel prepared. You are allowed to carry the assignment while still carrying doubts. You are allowed to take back what was stolen from your mind at age 7. You are allowed to answer the call before the fear finishes its sentence. And you do not owe perfection to anyone, not even God. He asked for your presence, not your perfection. Let me tell you about a chosen one. 7 months ago, a woman in a quiet town made a decision that terrified her. She had been sitting on her assignment for 6 years, not because she did not believe in it, because every time she got close to stepping forward, something in her mind would fog over, her confidence would collapse, and she would convince herself that next month would be better. 6 years of next month. 6 years of the chair sitting empty. Then, one night, something broke open. She did not suddenly become brave. She simply became tired of the cost of waiting. She showed up the next morning, trembling, feeling unqualified, feeling like a fraud. Within 3 weeks, doors that had been sealed for years began to open on their own. A contract appeared from a source she had never contacted. People she had never met began finding her, saying the same words. "I have been looking for someone exactly like you. Where have you been?" She proved something that night. Lateness is not disqualification, it is just delayed arrival. And God does not penalize delayed arrival, He celebrates it. Now let me bring this to the most practical place I can, because understanding is not enough. Understanding why you have been stuck does not unstick you. You need a tool. Remember when I told you about the neuroscientist who spent 34 years on this problem? His name is Dr. Robert Lake, and what he discovered is that the decline effect is not permanent. Gamma can be reactivated, not through willpower, not through positive thinking, through a technology called brain entrainment, where an external audio frequency literally communicates with your neural pathways and guides them back to the state they were in before the suppression began. He compressed decades of research into a single audio track, 7 minutes long. You put on headphones, you close your eyes, and you listen. No meditation required, no mantras, no journaling, no waking up at 4 in the morning. The frequency does the work. Your brain recognizes it the way a mother recognizes her child's cry in a crowded room, because this is the frequency it was born with. It is not learning something new. It is remembering something stolen. Now I want to be honest with you about something, because trust matters more to me than a sale. I cannot promise this will fix every area of your life overnight. I cannot promise you will wake up tomorrow and everything will be different. What I can tell you is that over 18,000 people have used this tool, and the patterns that emerge from their experiences are difficult to ignore. A teacher in Texas who spent a decade helping everyone else grow while feeling stuck herself described her brain as running at 30%. After 3 weeks with this audio track, decisions she had been avoiding for a year came clearly in a single morning. She did not become a different person. She became the person she already was before the suppression. Now, here is the part that I need you to hear with an open mind. If you have tried meditation, if you have tried healing frequencies on streaming platforms, if you have tried yoga and retreats and still felt like the real shift never landed, that makes sense. Because all of those methods ask your brain to change itself from the inside out. Brain entrainment works from the outside in. It is a completely different mechanism. That is why it reaches people that nothing else could reach. I would never disrespect your financial situation. $39 is a real decision for many people, and I honor that. So, let me put this in perspective. Traditional biofeedback therapy, which is the clinical method for activating gamma, costs around $300 per session. Home equipment for the same purpose runs around $7,000. What Dr. Lake created delivers the same core mechanism for $49. But because his mission is to reach the people who actually need this, not just the people who can afford clinical treatment, he set a special price for viewers of messages like this one, $39. That breaks down to about 10 cents a day for an entire year of unlimited use. And it comes with a full money-back guarantee, meaning if you feel nothing, if it does not work for you, you get every cent back. There are no conditions, no time limits on the guarantee. On top of the audio track itself, you receive 4 additional tools at no extra cost. An audio track designed for children called Genius Child, to protect the young ones in your life from the same suppression. The original book that inspired the film The Secret, which sells for $20 on its own, a guided visualization that walks you through 4 areas of your life, and a printed infographic of the 5 most critical habits for building the future you are being called into. Every day that Gamma stays asleep is another day the chair stays empty. Another day prayers that carry your name go unanswered. Another night God holds what was meant for your hands. The version of you that has already answered the call, the one who has already sat down in that chair and picked up the assignments waiting beside it, that version is looking back at this moment right now. Not with judgment, with hope. Because this is the moment everything began. And I need to warn you about something important. There are counterfeit versions of this technology circulating online. Websites that use the same name, the same language, but deliver nothing more than ordinary audio with no brain entrainment technology behind it. The only way to receive the authentic tool, with the full frequency calibration, all 4 bonuses, and the complete money-back guarantee, is through the link in the description below and in the pinned comment. Do not search for this on Amazon. Do not look for it on music platforms. Those are not the same thing. The link below is the only source I trust, and it is the only one connected to Dr. Robert Lake's original research. If your spirit confirms that this is for you, the link is there. If not, everything else I have shared tonight still stands, and the activation ceremony coming next will still shift something deep inside you. Some who began with that first 7-minute audio track found themselves going deeper, discovering names like neuroactive along the way. But it all started with those first 7 minutes, that first step of showing up. If you are done waiting for perfect conditions, if you are done telling yourself that next month will be the right time, type "I release the delay" in the comments right now. Seal it, declare it. Let the heavens hear that the waiting season is over. Take a breath now, a real one. Let it go slowly. The revelation is complete. You now know more about why you have been stuck than most people will ever learn in a lifetime. You know you were the plan. You know God operates on Kairos, not Kronos. You know the decline effect stole your frequency, and you know that every unanswered prayer connected to your assignment is the reason heaven is urgent tonight. But knowing is only half of the equation. The other half is doing, and I want to give you something right now that you can use starting tonight. I call it the Sacred Response Protocol. 3 steps, simple enough to remember, powerful enough to change the trajectory of your next season. The first step is called the Kairos check. Every time you feel that paralysis, that familiar freeze that stops you right before you step forward, ask yourself one question. Is this pressure coming from Kronos or from Kairos? If it is Kronos, if it is the world's clock telling you that you should have done this years ago, that voice is not from God. Let it pass. But if it is Kairos, if it is that deep pull in your spirit that says, now, not because you are ready, but because the moment is right, then that is your signal. Move. The second step is called the imperfect step. Within 24 hours of feeling that Kairos pull, take one action. Not the perfect action, not the complete action, any action. Send the message. Make the call. Write the first paragraph. Open the door. God does not need your perfection. He needs your presence. And one imperfect step taken in Kairos is worth more than 1,000 perfect plans that stay in your head. The third step is called the chair declaration. Every morning, before the world starts speaking, before the noise begins, say these words either out loud or inside your spirit. The chair has my name. I am showing up today. That is it. 12 words. But those 12 words rewire the first thought of your day from I am behind to I am answering. The Kairos check, the imperfect step, the chair declaration. These are yours now. Use them. Now I want to take you somewhere, and I need you to stay with me for this, because what we are about to do together is not information, it is activation. In your mind, I want you to stand up, not physically, in your spirit. Stand up inside yourself. Now imagine a hallway made of light, warm light. the kind that does not burn but holds you. And at the end of that hallway, there is a room. The door is already open. It has been open for a very long time. Walk toward it, slowly. Feel the ground beneath your feet change from cold stone to warm wood. As you step through the doorway, you see the room. And it is exactly as I described. The table is set. The assignments are written and placed neatly beside a chair. Your chair. Your name is carved into the wood. And standing behind that chair, with both hands resting on its back, is the one who built it. He is not angry. He is not disappointed. He is smiling. Because you came. After all the detours, after all the doubt, after all the years of circling, you are here. Walk to the chair. Sit down. Feel the weight settle into your bones. Feel how the chair fits, like it was measured for you. Because it was. This is where you belong. This is where you have always belonged. And the one standing behind you places his hands on your shoulders and says one word. Finally. Now, let us enter the most sacred part of this message. What I am about to speak over you is not a casual prayer. This is a commissioning, an activation, and I need you to receive it with everything you have. Father, I come before you tonight, carrying the weight of gratitude that has no adequate words. Thank you for not closing the book. Thank you for not giving the chair to someone else. Thank you for holding those prayers night after night, year after year, while this chosen one found their way back. Your patience is not weakness. Your patience is the purest expression of a love that refuses to let go. And I know that. You see them right now. You see every hesitation they swallowed in silence. You see every morning they woke up wanting to step forward and could not understand why their feet would not move. You see every prayer they whispered asking you to remove the fog, without knowing the fog had a name and a cause. You see the nights they questioned their own worth, their own calling, their own right to sit in a chair with their name on it. You see all of it, and none of it disqualified them. Now I speak release over this chosen one. Release the delay. Release. Release the lie that says you are too late. Release. Release the old timeline that measured your worth in missed deadlines. Release. Release the voice of every person who made you feel small enough to forget what you were carrying. Release. Release the unworthiness that was never yours. It was a symptom, not an identity. Release. Release the fog. Release the frost. Release the years of gamma sleeping while your spirit screamed to wake up. Release. Release the belief that God is disappointed in you, because He is not disappointed. He is here, and He is ready. Release. Now I activate what has been dormant. I activate the full frequency of this chosen one. I activate the clarity that was suppressed at age 7. I activate the intuition that the modern world tried to silence. I activate the divine connections that have been waiting behind doors that fear kept locked. I activate the provision that was assigned to this mission before it had a carrier. I activate the courage to show up imperfectly and let God complete what human hands could not. I speak protection over this rising. Cover this chosen one from self-sabotage, from the voice that will try tomorrow morning to convince them this was just emotion. Guard what is being built from premature exposure, from the eyes that are not ready to see it yet. Protect this frequency from every system, every pattern, every old habit that benefited from its silence. And now, I declare, you are not the backup plan. You are the blueprint. You are not too late. You are right on Kairos. You are the light bearer who walks into rooms that forgot what light looks like. You are the voice that speaks what others feel but cannot form into words. You are the cycle breaker, the one who ends what should have ended generations ago. You are the pioneer, the one who goes first into territory that has no map, so that others can follow your footprints. You are the deliverer. And the nations waiting under branches that have not yet grown are about to see the tree rise from the soil. I declare this is done. I declare the chair is occupied. I declare that the carrier has arrived and the assignment is accepted. Do not say, Amen yet. Stay here. Let the weight of what was just spoken settle into every corner of your being. Sit in this frequency. Let it press into your bones and your blood and your breath. You do not need to understand it all right now. You just need to let it land. The tree is rising. The roots were never dead. They were deeper than anyone knew, spreading in the dark, gripping the earth with the kind of strength that only comes from years of unseen growth. And the nations that were meant to find shelter under your branches, they have been waiting, but not anymore. You are not alone in this. Right now, all across the world, chosen ones are stepping into their assignments for the first time. Some of them heard this same truth tonight. Some of them heard it from a different source, in a different language, at a different hour. But the shift is the same. The ground is shaking. And it is shaking because the empty chairs are being filled. And for those whose journey does not end tonight, whose spirit senses that there is more beyond this first step, names like Destiny's Embrace exist further along the road. But that road begins here. It begins with tonight. It begins with the chair. It is done. It is sealed. We receive it, and so it is. Amen. One more thing before you go, and this might be the most important thing I say tonight. The chair I described, the one in that room at the end of the hallway, it was never actually in heaven. It was always inside you. The room was your spirit. The table was your purpose. The assignments were the callings you have been carrying since before you understood what they meant. And the one, standing behind the chair, his hands were on your shoulders the entire time, even during the years you thought he had walked away. You are not the person who pressed play on this message. That person was still running, still circling, still measuring themselves on the wrong clock. The person hearing these words right now is different. You sat down, and that changes everything. If your answer is yes, if the chair is now occupied, type, I am here. Not as words on a screen, as a declaration written in the courts of heaven that the carrier has arrived and the assignment is accepted. If this message brought clarity to confusion, if it brought peace to a war that has been raging inside you for years, if it brought a name to a weight you have been carrying without understanding what it was, let your like be your amen, without words. If this truth reached you at the right moment, there are more words being prepared for your next season, more revelations, more activations, more truths that will meet you exactly where you are. Stay connected so those words can find you too. For those who felt called to what I shared about the frequency restoration, the link remains in the description and the pinned comment, only if your spirit confirms. And one final thing. If someone came to mind while you were listening tonight, someone who has been unusually quiet lately, someone who has been circling their purpose but cannot seem to take the first step, someone who carries a weight they cannot name and a calling they cannot explain, send this to them. Do not wait until tomorrow. Do not tell yourself you will do it later. Text it to them right now. Because this might be the moment their chair has been waiting for. This might be the message that finally helps them understand that they are not broken. They were suppressed. And what was suppressed can be restored. Go in peace, chosen one. The chair is warm, and God is smiling. You are not leaving a message. You are leaving a season.